Hello everybody and welcome to this new video. Today I'll be teaching you how to build a calculator in Minecraft. You might ask, well, didn't you do that already, DLU? Well, yes, I already did build DLU, but the calculator, if you build a calculator, that's a whole separate machine, so you need to add some things to make it actually useful. And if you're overwhelmed with what's behind me and you ask what has that to do with the calculator, don't worry, I'll explain it, I'll explain everything, but you will need to watch last week's episode about those things right behind me, the coder and the decoder. So, what I'll be doing exactly today is not really too much with calculating, but just the setup. So, the functions that it will be able to do after today is just adding, but that's nothing new. You'll have to watch the how to build a adder episode to learn that. But what will we do today? Well, that thing right behind me, for example, but a few other things. Let's get started. First, the big question: what is this for? Well, currently it's not working, but why is this giant grid and then another smaller grid here? Well, I want you to be able to put the numbers that you want to calculate in decimal. So how I do it is these are just the ones, the last number in your the last digit in your number, and this is for like 10, 20, 30, 40, or just 0. So for example, if you want to express the number 5, you go 0, 5. I think like this will also work, but I would recommend also putting on 0 to be certain. Why don't I go to 9 for this row? Well, I'll just stick to 4 bits, and then you can only go up to 16 numbers, so I only need the 1. You can get bigger, but it's just the same process. So what is this for then? Well, last week I explained how binary is just a way to code information. Well, the decimal system is also a way to code information. But so we have to decode the decimal system into the 16 separate lines and then code them again into binary. This one is to decode, the smaller one is to code them again. This one is exactly the same like this one, or will be exactly the same. This one will have the same principle as this one, but you see that the grid isn't entirely the same. How? Well, all these lines, so not these two, all these lines go from 0 to 9. If you remember, this is, so how it works is you power all the lines that are not possible. Not that it really matters for now, but anyway, so to be able to be to be this line, for it to be this line, this needs to be a 0, and this needs to be a 0, and then this will be a 0, because this line is this, and this line is this one, so 0, 0, that's 0. For example, if you want to do 13, then this line needs to be on, this line, because the first number needs to be a 1, and the second number needs to be 3, this is 0, this is 1, 2, and 3, so this line also needs to be on, so that's why here there's white concrete and not black. So those are just all the possible combinations. So these are for 10, 10 and 20, not that we have those, and those are just for the numbers. themselves at the right hand. Well, as you might see, this is quite bunky, and that is why we use binary and not a decimal, because in these cases it's very large and very inconvenient to use this system. I don't think I really explained it that well, but I think you'll understand. If you don't, leave it down in the comments below, I'll explain it again. But now you would just have to make the system work. That's exactly the same like this one, so I'll just do that off camera. Let's go. Finally, this took a while, but it is done. So, let's have a look if this works. Let's try, for example, 3. So, 0, 3, and 3 is 1, I mean 0, 0, 1, 1, and sure enough, that's what we see. Next one, let's try for the big number. Let's try 15, just the biggest number is possible, so 1, 1, 1, 1, and we see 1, 1, 1, 1. If you input a number that is not valid, it will just output 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's the same as you would just do th this, only it sees that as a valid number. So this line is turned off, but 0 is just none of the lines are activated. So now we have this, but we have no actual adding. Well, for adding you need two different numbers. What we could do is build this entire module again. I would just copy it in that case, but we can do something smarter, and that is just literally copy the ALU. We split that line. We have two registers. We can load to those different registers. They add it up, and you have your output. So that's exactly how I'm going to do it. If you want to know how this exactly worked, check out the ALU episode, and also the episode where we built the adder, this thing. So I'll get started. Okay, so the adder is done, and this is, as you might remember, almost an exact replica of the ALU. Also, a funny thing you might see is this part. This is where the actual adding happens. All the rest is something that comes with it, but not adding. And this is a calculator. So how less space it actually takes to add the things. But anyway, next thing we need to do is some way to output the data. Oh yeah, I'll maybe I'll demonstrate it. So for the moment, still has loaded in 15 and 15 added together, that is 30. And this is not correct actually, but that's because it's overflowing. 30, you can't represent 30 with 5 digits, with 5 bits, so this is not correct, but you can send that signal back to light a lamp to notify the player from, hey, the calculator is overflowing, don't trust the output. But if this were implemented and you look at it this way, then it would be correct, because wait, 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, 16 plus 8 is 24 plus 4 is 28 plus 2 is 30, and they're all on, and that one is on except for the one. Okay, so that works. So like I said, we need to do something with the outputs, and for that I'll just be using this one. Will not explain anything about it, go watch that video if you want to know how it works, but I'll just I'll just paste it in place over here, and then I'll hook up the three the three control lines. So to write something in register A, to write something in register B, uh, and wait, no, there are only two. No, there aren't three. There, I was first planning on adding a control line to reset these, but then you'll have to space them apart if you remember with two, and that would just be a little inconvenience. So I'll just go with right ALU register A and register B. Let's go. And I'm finally all done. It did give me some trouble copying this into the right place, and as you see, I did say I was gonna put it here, but I ended up putting it here because if I did it there, I needed to flip it, which caused this to not match up. Like the least significant bit was in the place of the most significant bit. If you understand what I mean, that's not really important. And also, this was mirrored, so the number was mirrored, and it wasn't right. But so I had to place it like there, but it works. It completely works, and in the end, I did realize I do have a third control line, and that is the overflow error. So let's check it out. Let's do, I don't know, 2 plus 11. 2 is 0, 2. Write that to register A. Give it some time to be sure. And let's take 11, 1, 1 to register B. Give it some time, and oh, and we have 13. It works. The output is a little bit in a uncomfortable spots, but that doesn't matter. So let's try to reset these by putting this one to 0 and turning those on. We should set it entirely to 0, and yes, that worked perfectly. So thank you for watching. This was the first episode in I I don't know how many there will be, but next week we're going to make a learn how to make uh, I'm sorry. Next week I'll teach you how to make a component that multiplies two numbers. With a little trick, you can do that with adding, but it takes a long time. With a little component that goes much faster. I'm sorry if this episode is a little bit shorter and you didn't really learn anything too new compared to other videos, but I think you can believe me that this took a while to record, looking that I had to build all this, even if I could copy some components and use Roulette, and I had quite a busy week in general. But next week is not as busy, I have a lot of time, so I have time to exactly figure out how to make that product module. But still, I hope you learned something from it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and liking. It would really make my day. Have a good day, and bye!